Okay, so at this point, I've cleaned off the glass. A couple of notes you can tell in this video, but this glass is beveled. It is on an angle. Kind of goes like that. That's why I put the piece of tape on the top outside face. If your glass isn't tinted, this would be a good time to tint your glass if you'd like to. The next thing is I'm going to put the U-channel fitted around the glass. They give you a long length of this, and you want to have your seams at the top. Another good reason to put the tape on there. And just follow it around. Now, tape's also a good idea because we'll just forget that part. Okay, so I'm putting the tape, so I am putting on the U-channel. That's a pretty square edge. Okay. I was going to cut that square, but it's fine. This goes, you wrap this around. Right now I'm doing it just for fitting purposes because this is going to be filled with silicone. I just want to get the right length. Okay, so this is taking a little longer than I wanted it to. I should have stopped the camera, but I'm just about done. And there's something important that I would like to show you about how this molding goes around here. Now I'm not stretching it, I'm just letting it go around without stretching it, just laying it on there. Okay, so I could mark it now. I just can cut it right the size. Okay, now, and this is sitting on here. I chose this window to do the video on because of the sharp angle here. If you can see the way the rubber molding is sitting on, it's all pushed away. It has to be secure and flat against. So when you can see it in this angle, but the molding is not flat against it, it bends away. This is probably the best view to show that. But that has to be tight against the glass, or when it's outside, the water's going to run right into these gaps and come right into the boat. So at this point now, this U-channel gets filled with the sealant, which is the 795 Dow Corning. Comes in the kit. Caulking gun. And I'm going to fill up this U-channel with a continuous bead with a white looking silicone. Which I just popped out of it. But I'm going to pause it now till I fill up this thing with silicone. Okay, so I've taken my glass that I've put the silicone in the U-shaped gasket, and I put it back on. If you can see in the edges, I've got quite a bit of silicone going around these corners. to make sure when this lays flat that it makes a good seal. It's also going to squish out. But I found that if you don't do it this way, they're going to leak. So I'm going to put that aside. I took a 1/2-inch chisel and I cleaned out the track here. And that's so you can see that in the light. 1/2-inch chisel fits nicely right inside this track. So that's so you can see that. And I just cleaned that out, scraped it clean. So when I put the adhesive to hold it back in, it's not lumpy and bumpy, and I can just put it back in. Now I'm going to take the bottom track, which was on this particular window, was the one with this sharp curve. And if you can see inside here that there's 2 tracks. The outer one is the one that the glass goes in. The inner one just gets the square molding that just cleans it up and closes it. So what I'm going to do on the sharp curve here is I'm going to add some more adhesive. And on the other curve too. You don't have to do it on the top if you don't want to, because water does not flow in and up, at least not yet. So I've added some of that in there. I'm now going to stick my glass back in. This is my outside with my tape. This is the outside with the face. The other side just a narrow inside track. I'm going to stick it back in here into the angled side. And now into the square side. Probably a good idea. I have plastic gloves on, which I don't know why I didn't this time, because all the other times I did. And that goes seated in there. Oh, shifted that. Don't want to do that. Push that in there. Getting a little dirty again, but I did purchase that silicone remover. Works pretty good. So this glass is now seated tightly in the bottom track, and I've got silicone oozing out everywhere. But I want to make sure I don't have to do this again. Take the outside, put it to the outside, slip it over. Puts it into place. Getting a little dirty again. We don't want to do that. Try it again. There it goes. Pressed tightly into place so that the seams line up again. At this point, put the 2 screws back. Let's sort of on my hands now. Put the screws back that held that plate. That pulls the 2 halves of the frame together pretty tight. Okay, that's one. And the other one in there. Put the frame press it together tight. Okay, so now the whole frame's back together. It's a little messy, but the important thing is that these corners here, that the rubber molding lays flat in there. And I'm pressing it in. You can see that I'm oozing out the silicone. If you look at this one, you can see here it's sticking out. Press all that in, especially in those sharp corners, sharp radius corners, that it's all in there. Pressing that one around. Now, this looks a little messy, and it is, but on the 90-degree radius corners, the gasket lies pretty tight.